You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
The disturbing truth behind Trump's 7-country bombing campaign, based on an article by Nirmakdasi. The war machine is the point. War as a revenue model. The article describes a presidency that does not treat war as an exception to governance, but as its organizing business model. Trump campaigned on ending wars and then, according to the source, escalated them, bombing 7 countries in the first 11 months of his second term, helping drive the bombing campaign in Iran that killed more than 3,000 people, and threatening Greenland for missile bases and minerals. That is not strategic confusion. It is a governing method built around forced scarcity and profit. Who holds power? The actual power in this story sits with the White House, the Pentagon, military contractors, mining firms, and the financial networks that profit when conflict creates shortages. Trump is not merely surrounded by this system. He is presented as the political broker who connects it, extends it, and cashes in on it. The proposed $1.5 trillion defense budget, the $100 billion in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act for critical minerals and related projects, and the rush to rebuild weapons stockpiles all point to the same fact. The state is being used to feed the state's own war economy. AI as a battlefield product. The article also shows how military power is being modernized into something colder and less accountable. The Pentagon's billions in contracts with Google, Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon, Palantir, and Anduril are not side notes. They are the infrastructure of a war machine that wants faster targeting, more automation, and less human restraint. Maven's smart system is the clearest example. A tool that helps sift data and select targets at speed. When the source says the Pentagon has not explained whether I played a role in the bombing of Shadrate, a Bay Girls' School, that is not a technical gap. It is an accountability vacuum inside a machine built to kill first and explain later. Corruption in plain sight. The article is strongest when it names the patronage structure directly. Donald Trump Jr. helping select Pentagon personnel while firms linked to his investment network win contracts. Is not influence in some vague Washington sense. It is family, adjacent state capture. The same goes for the Shell Corporation tied to Trump's sons investing in a mining group involved in a $1.6 billion tungsten project in Kazakhstan, approved under the Trump administration. Elizabeth Warren's phrase, corruption in plain sight, fits because the system no longer bothers with plausible deniability. It just needs enough bureaucracy to launder theft into policy, misdirection, and scapegoats. What this story exposes is how often the language of national security is used to hide plane predation. The source correctly identifies the military-industrial complex, but the deeper misdirection is the idea that this is a technocratic scramble for resilience or supply chain security. It is not. It is extraction under armed protection. The administration's reported willingness to withhold heavy assistance from Zambia to pressure access to minerals makes the coercion explicit. When the U.S. destabilizes regions, threatens aid, and extends mining and weapons contracts at home, the cruelty is not collateral, it is operational. Extraction is the doctrine. The larger pattern is simple. Militarization, extraction, and privatized political power are merging into one regime of rule. Critical minerals are not just inputs for industry. In this story, they are the material basis for endless war, AI-enabled targeting, and oligarchic enrichment. The article is right to connect environmental destruction, indigenous dispossession, and geopolitical conflict, because that is the real architecture here. Trump is not an aberration from the system. He is what the system looks like when it stops pretending. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article, with the automated voice of Labritz. Thanks for listening.